Jeep is really shaking things up in their 2026 lineup, starting here with this 2026 Grand Cherokee. They claim this is the #1 selling nameplate in the entire Stellantis portfolio of vehicles. And for 2026, we got a new paint color, a new face, and a new heart. Hey, it's Corey, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and in this video, I'm going to take you on a drive of this new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee and really examine what that Hurricane 4-cylinder is all about. I am now in behind the wheel of the 2026 Grand Cherokee, and that is perhaps the biggest talking point here is the fact that we have an all-new engine under the hood, and that's where we're going to spend a lot of the time talking about how that engine works. But let me give you a better sneak peek of what is actually under the hood. This engine bay used to hold a 5.7 liter Hemi, and now the top engine choice is this 2-liter Hurricane 4-cylinder. It is tight and compact and does give us a little more space all the way around it. They say that there is one shared component with other engines in the Jeep lineup, and that is the oil filter. But speaking of oil, one thing that is different about this Hurricane 4 versus the Hurricane 6 that we see in other Stellantis products is right here. Yes, in fact, we do still get a dipstick. It is not a common dipstick across the entire Stellantis portfolio, but they did say that the dipstick was the #1 requested feature from people who had purchased a Hurricane 6, and they were wondering, hey guys, where's my dipstick? It is a brand new engine architecture, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And this is the first Jeep application of it here in the Grand Cherokee.
Actually, first application for this engine in our whole Stellantis lineup.
Oh, hard stop.
So thanks, Corey, for having me. My name is Ashish Dubey. I'm the Chief Engineer for Hurricane 4 program. As you mentioned, that this is an all-new engine for us. So we started from a clean sheet of development for this engine, and we looked at different technologies, different innovations throughout our company, what our competitors are doing, or what options are there out in the market. And we started narrowing it down to, again, thinking about what are Jeep customer objectives and how do we match the right technology to meet those customer needs. And that's what took us to introduce first mainstream application. When I say mainstream, it's a high volume application of what we call turbulent jet ignition. I should have a part somewhere in my pocket. Let me see if I can find it right here. So this is a passive pre-chamber. It sits in the combustion chamber.
Okay.
So we press fit this into the cylinder head. Think about in a conventional engine, you have a spark plug sitting in the combustion chamber, right? So you have air fuel mixture, the spark plug ignites it, the flame propagates through the combustion chamber and burn the fuel. What we are doing here, the spark plug sits inside this cup, and during compression stroke, air fuel mixtures get pushed into this pre-chamber, spark plug ignites it inside this pre-chamber, and then those flames propagate through these, you see this tiny holes on this pre-chamber?
Tight, yeah.
So all this 9 flame jets come out of this very high speed. What it does is basically you are replacing, in simple words, a lighter with a blowtorch.
Okay.
So there is so much energy into the combustion chamber that you can get very efficient combustion, which means it's complete combustion and fast combustion. So you mitigate knock, so you can make more power, and then you reduce your emissions. So that's really the big advantage that allowed us on this engine, which has been what we call a game changer, to offer both higher performance and better fuel consumption. When you compare it to today's 2-liter turbo, this engine makes 20% more power while consuming 10% less fuel.
Okay.
Because, again, all the technology innovation that we brought into this engine, thinking about our end customer.
And it all starts right there.
That's correct.
So I am very intrigued as to how this Hurricane 4 with its turbulent jet injection really will hold up as I get out and drive. The big talking point is more power with less fuel and less displacement. Now, I know a lot of you are already saying you're putting a lot of pressure, a lot of strain on a small displacement engine, and that's not the same as you taking a small engine and putting a big turbo on it aftermarket. This thing was designed from the ground up to be powered by this variable turbo on this one. I can say it is very punchy right off the line. There is not a lot of lag. It does deliver a lot of power, and short of the transmission having to take a second to figure out exactly what I want it to do, let's put it in sport, and as we wind through this canyon road, see if it reacts just a little bit better. Yeah, sport mode, it definitely reacts a whole lot better, more smoothly. So sport mode does change the suspension tuning. It also holds me in gears longer. So as I'm descending down into a valley here, it's really holding the gears, kind of giving me an engine brake effect going on here in sport mode. But yes, the big news is this new Turbulent jet injection 4-cylinder. And we have a full second video here on the channel where I interview the engineers, and we talk about exactly why they chose to build this engine the way they did. It being a Hurricane engine, it is built in similar processes as the Hurricane 6-cylinder, but only has one shared component across the board, and that is the oil filter. So far in my time with it, I've been rather impressed. Again, more power, less fuel used, which is saying a lot. It's almost like technological wizardry going on underneath the hood, that they were able to do both of those things simultaneously when changing the entire engine design and architecture when it comes to injection. Other driving dynamics outside of the engine, we do have air ride adaptive suspension. We've got really good brakes. We're riding on 21-inch wheels. This is actually a surprisingly comfortable drive, all told, especially considering how little rubber we actually have between the wheels and the road. Another thing that Jeep has worked on is adding color. The brand is very happy to announce that for the nation's 250th birthday, red, white, and blue are all no-cost options. And then there's this new color, Cappuccino. Yes, on this Summit model here in front of me, it does give a nice classy look and gives us more color than what we got in the 25 model year. Now, as you can see, the weather hasn't exactly decided to cooperate with us. So as I talk about the exterior, I'm unfortunately just gonna have to use some B-roll that was provided to us from Jeep themselves. But they did update the face of this Grand Cherokee. They have new lights, just revised overall design to the front end, which is going to be instantaneously recognizable as the Grand Cherokee. I, of course, am driving in the L version, the longer wheelbase version with 3 rows of seats, which did open up this Grand Cherokee nameplate into a whole new segment of buyers. They claimed when they introduced the L that something like 75% of buyers in this segment wanted 3 rows of seats. So that was a big win for them when they introduced this L platform. One other thing Jeep has really worked on with this 2026 Grand Cherokee is the trim lineup. They've reduced it essentially to 3. You've got your base Laredo, your mid-trim Limited, and then your top trim Summit like we have here. All of those trims do have some offshoots that give you a little bit more style, like black accents, things like that. But generally speaking, they have greatly simplified the overall lineup. Now, when it comes to NVH and what it's like actually riding inside this 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee, it is obvious that there is a 4-cylinder under the hood versus something like the 5.7 liter Hemi that this nameplate used to carry and this platform used to carry. It is missed from the aspect of what it sounded like. This very much does sound like a 4-cylinder under the hood. You can't hide that fact, but it is still rather punchy and does not make this big 3-row vehicle feel sluggish by any means. And that's saying a lot because we are changing altitudes quite drastically here as we're winding through canyon roads around Malibu here in Southern California.
is sponsored by my friends at Screen Pro Tech. They make the film that goes over top the infotainment screen and digital dash. This is a great product. It keeps the smudges off, keeps the scratches off, and it actually makes the screen for the infotainment screen more of a tacky feel. So on long road trips, like I just finished a long camping trip, it was easier for me to pull up my music, pull up my podcasts, and use the map. My finger didn't slip around so much on the screen, and it was easier to use those systems. I also kept off a lot of the smudges, fingerprints, and didn't have any scratches from, say, anything I was using. The screen still looks brand new. If I have any problems with it, I can peel it right off. I can order a new piece of film, go over top of it. It's like you would with a cell phone. It keeps that screen nice. So I'm not worried about any time in the future having a scratched screen, and I can keep that looking like brand new. Go ahead and get yours at screenprotect.com. About $60 for the infotainment screen and the cover. They have it for all makes and models. Get 15% off. Use discount code PICKUP15. They make this nice little cylinder. It's like a boutique kind of cylinder. It comes with all your screens in there, and then they have a application that with a little applicator and a really nice high quality cloth used to clean it, as well as after you apply it, and some spray to put it on. So easy to apply. I've had videos on the channel on how I've applied it, and it's held up on my truck and my wife's Ford Ranger. We've both been really happy with this product. So make sure you get yours. I really was looking for something for these trucks we buy that have these really big screens. Make sure I want it protected. This has been really good.
Another thing that engineers took note of, again, making this powertrain specifically for Grand Cherokee, is how Grand Cherokee owners use their Grand Cherokees. Now, the 3.6 Pentastar V6 is still available in the lower trim levels, but this is going to be the volume engine that we see throughout the entire lineup. And they did not sacrifice towing capability, meaning the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, its naturally aspirated goodness, has the same tow rating as this 2 liter 4-cylinder, which is saying a lot about how they tuned and designed this engine. Again, more efficient, more powerful, and still has the same tow rating. So if you plan on towing some boats to the lake, or whether you're pulling a U-Haul trailer back behind you, just know that this 2 liter Hurricane 4 seems to be up to the task. Granted, I'm not currently towing anything, so I can't say definitively. I am always impressed when companies launch a crossover, an SUV, something that is not traditionally known for its cornering ability, and then they bring us to roads such as this one. I'm passing up a 25-mile-an-hour curve road ahead warning here with sharp turns in a heavy 3-row SUV, and it is handling it quite well. Again, we have the 4-corner air ride suspension in this Summit model, and we've got some pretty decent brakes as well. So I've got no complaints in that regard. And since we are currently going down into the valley, we aren't really testing this 4-cylinder all that much. So the real test will be as we climb back up. Now I can say, as I am climbing up into the mountains from the canyon floor, I am hearing a lot more of the engine here. It doesn't feel strained, it's just communicating a lot more noise here inside the cabin, which I guess is why Jeep invested so heavily in their Macintosh sound system. So you simply turn on your sound system and completely drown it out. I wouldn't say it's annoying by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a little drony. And again, you can't hide the fact that, well, it is a 4-cylinder. Yes, I would say that this engine is plenty punchy, and if you are in the right drive mode for whatever mood or situation you're in, I'd say it's very well sorted to this vehicle platform. Again, we have a full video here on the channel where I spoke with lead engineers talking about why they went with this powertrain and what makes it so special. There really is a lot of cool technology under the hood here in front of me. Now, coming to a complete stop, it does have engine start-stop in it, so that is an annoying technology that still remains, at least for the time being. But setting off, again, it's punchy at low speeds, not a lot of torque lag in this one. It's really just ready to go whenever you stomp on it. I do want to take you on a quick interior tour, at least of what I can see up here. So we do have a full digital gauge cluster up here. We have a large Uconnect touchscreen system here. And we do have the passenger screen over there, which I never really got into. As somebody who's really into tech, that just seems like an overreach for me. I really would rather not have all the gloss black shiny over there and just have a better overall design. Maybe save a few dollars, Jeep, and don't give me that extra screen. Now we're gonna put this thing to the real life test. How does it handle a highway merge in real life? So yes, let's merge on to the 101 North, heading out here and see exactly how this handles highway merging situations. Again, it's plenty punchy. Got me up to speed, so much so that I'm actually gonna either have to speed up or slow down, get in front of this box truck. Yeah. I don't think power's the problem here in this one. And then again, the engineers did say they designed this specifically for this platform. So yes, it may be a small displacement turbocharged engine, but it was built specifically for this duty. It is not like you going and putting a big turbo on your non-turbo engine. This was made and tested rigorously for this platform and is designed to last decades and hundreds of thousands of miles. So just rest assured, yes, Jeep put in the work to make sure that this will last. So that was a very quick look at what makes this Hurricane 4 so unique and different within the Stellantis family of engines. And though, yes, it uses the Hurricane name, there are very few shared parts and components along with that Hurricane 6. Yes, the build design is essentially the same until it gets to the injection side of things. This truly is a world-class engine in what Stellantis says is a world-class product. If you want to see more from us here, be sure and hit that logo right over there. A video that YouTube thinks you should watch is right down here. But as for me, with Jeep, I will see you down the road.